I have the great privilege of being a cool aunt to a few really cool kids. One of the kids is nearly 1, and I figured for their first Christmas, I am going to knit them a pair of really rad socks. I want them to be loud, I want them to be orange, I want them to be warm, and also, this is so mean of me, but it's going to be very, very funny watching a kid trying to learn to walk on very slippery socks. So, yes, it's a nice gift because children need to be warm, but also it's a funny gift because kids slipping is also very funny. Karma came back to bite me. I accidentally knit the wrong size, so I had to frog and redo all of that. I deserve it though. Okay, so I'm now just getting back from practice and it's absolutely freezing. But this is a great example of how I actually get so much knitting done because the bus ride is 30 minutes or so, and in that time I finished the heel of that sock. So I use what downtime I have to knit, and in those instances it's really good to have patterns that are just no-brainers, like a sock pattern that I could do in my sleep after 20 odd years of knitting them. So I can't talk anymore. I didn't bring any mittens and now my hand holding the phone is absolutely freezing, so I will see you in a warm place again soon. I always find these baby socks very difficult because I can never figure out how big they actually need to be, because the websites with the patterns say, oh, a foot of a 1-year-old is this big, or a foot of an 18-month-old is this big, and I just cannot make that make sense in my mind. So this sock is the second iteration. As you saw, I had to rip back an entire half of a sock because it was just way too big. I looked at it and I thought this is more suitable to one of my big nibblings who are in preschool and school instead of a small child. So I did rip back, I restarted it. I am happier with this size. I think it's a size that the kid can grow into a bit. It's going to be cold for quite a while, and I didn't want the shaft to be too long, so long enough to stay up but not long enough to go all the way up to their knees. And I didn't chicken out with the heel flap and gusset either. I knit it as long as it's supposed to be, and I'm now just finishing up knitting together the sides of the heel flap and gusset. So it's a small update. I did spend some time knitting on the bus yesterday, which I always find very useful to just wind down after practice, getting my pulse back down to normal before going to bed in the evenings. We practice quite late as well. That always takes some time, so I usually listen to an audiobook, one of the audiobooks that I listen to go to sleep. Actually, currently it's the Narnia books, because I need that Christmassy nostalgia, please and thank you. And I then do some knitting as well if I have the time. So I would rather take a commute that is a few minutes longer, but that doesn't require me to change anywhere, because that sort of breaks the flow of calming down. So sitting on a bus for half an hour, that is a very good way to cool down and to calm down after the practice. Okay, so the heel is now, hang on. This magic loop situation, I don't know if the cord is too stiff or if the cord is too short, but I am trying to like it. It is growing on me, but is it growing on me quickly enough, or is this just testing my patience? I will knit the second sock on magic loop as well with the same needles, and that is partially because my DP ends are currently occupied on another project, and if they were free I might have chosen something different for the second sock, but it's going to be fine. This is a small project. I'm learning. I said at the beginning of the autumn that figuring out magic loop is part of the things that I want to learn. So I shall learn. But I'm not enjoying it. See, these just flop about. These are fixed circular needles because the system that I use, the Knit Pro system, doesn't, as far as I can tell, come in a 2.5mm needle interchangeable circular, because the mechanism, the screw-on mechanism, is too large for a 2.5mm needle. So I think that only goes down to a 3mm needle. So I had to buy a pair of fixed circulars to be able to use magic loop for 2.5mm needles. And I am proud of myself, thank you for asking, for branching out and doing something different than what I've done for the last 20 years of knitting socks. But I'm not entirely sure that it's actually paying off. I mean, it is convenient that I don't have to worry about needles falling out in my bag. They don't fall out on their own because I knit so tightly that I don't really lose needles. But if I stuff a project into my bag and then pull something out of the bag and one of the needles sort of snag on the thing that I'm pulling out, that would obviously pull the needles out, even though they are knitted quite tightly. Okay, so I have now picked up the stitches for the sides of the heel and I am moving on to the decreases. I'm using the same sock formula for all of my socks. During this month of Vlogmas, you are going to see, oh hang on, that's a cheat. You are going to see several pairs of socks in different sizes. So I'm going to be posting a video. I don't know if I have already posted it when you're seeing this, but one of the videos is going to be teeny tiny socks for Christmas ornaments, and one pair is going to be a really large pair of socks for my father, who wears a size 46 European, and some other socks in sizes between. So this is a size, is it a size 10 or is it a 10cm foot? It is a small child's sock anyway. And the 1x1 rib is definitely the right choice. I had previously knit a 2x2 rib instead for this sock in particular, and it was just too clunky for the very, very small sock that it is. So a 1x1 rib for the shaft, and now I'm onto the foot and I'm not knitting any rib anymore. or actually the front of the shaft is not ribbed past the first 1.5 centimeters. And I can't well keep filming for the entire duration of this sock, but now I'm in the zone. I just wanted to knit, and every round is so quick to knit because it's such a small circumference. It's just a 48 stitch circumference, and it's so quick to knit. And I just wanted to finish the decreases, and then I'm just going to want to finish up until the toe, and then I'm just going to want to finish the toe. And I can't keep filming that long and just chatting, can I? I could probably find something to chat about until I'm done. But no, I should get on with it. But one thing that I do want to chat about before I finish up this clip is the previous sock was a 56 round circumference, or 56 stitch circumference, and that was definitely too large. And I'm seeing that now because this is farther than I had come on the first version of the sock, but you can see that this portion is all of the wound up and ripped back yarn from the last sock. So I was definitely using more yarn, and that is also always fascinating to see, I think, how long yarn will last in different sizes. So although the sock didn't look too much bigger than this, I used a lot less yarn, and I'm definitely convinced that this is a better choice size-wise for this particular fancy person's foot. Okay, I have to do something else. Over the course of the next day, I actually finished both of the socks. So here I am just weaving in the last few ends, and look at the finished sock. They are so tiny, but at the same time such a big foot that is going into that. The kid is growing so fast, it's amazing. I was thinking about embroidering them or doing something fancy with them, but I thought they are going to grow out of them fairly quickly, so I'm just going to leave it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.